This is how, like, Henry Aaron exists in my head. Like, I know for a lot of folks, that 715 number is who Henry Aaron is. You don't think of him in another way, but the way that I've thought about him, especially as I've read Howard's book and went back and done my own research, that hit for power, hit for contact, and could kind of sort of field the ball, right? He came up in the Negro Leagues with the Indianapolis Clowns that, didn't actually play in Indianapolis, which is my favorite fact about the Indianapolis Clowns. Playing shortstop, but he only played there for like a month because he was so good. He got signed away and ends up playing with the Milwaukee Braves, but on the way through there, he's playing minor league, and he gets moved from shortstop to second base, and people didn't see his arm as popping, and he ran with a real easy gait, but he was never slow. So the idea was that Henry Aaron did not work hard at playing the sport of baseball when really it was just easy for him to play, and he came up at a time when black men were taught, don't work any harder than they expect you to work because you're going to be working all day, every day for the rest of your life, whether you want to or not. Leave something in reserve. But Henry Aaron could leave something in reserve and still be a whole hell of a lot better than you. As a matter of fact, I just read this story that Chuck Tanner told about Henry Aaron and about how he was perceived by his teammates on that Milwaukee Braves team. Matter of fact, I want to read that for you because the quote is, the bottom line is that they were jealous of him. In those days, nobody wanted to go back to the farm, and Henry Aaron was so good, they knew that. They knew he wasn't going to be the one going back to the farm. He made everything look so easy that even the writers hated him for it at first. Henry didn't run, he glided. He just had so much ability. He could make everything look so easy, and I think people resented him for that. That's how I feel like most people look at Cam Newton. Full stop. If you had the abilities of Cam Newton, you would look at him and say, why don't you fix your mechanics? Why don't you learn to throw off of your back foot or push forward off your back foot and land on your front foot? Why won't you fix your shoulder? But Cam is just that much better than anybody else playing quarterback at what he was doing and the way he was doing it, that it's really difficult for folks that don't have those gifts to understand what it means to have those gifts. So you look at guys like, say, Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers' arm talent is preternatural, right? And you say, that guy works, he studies. People love talking about Tom Brady in this way because Tom Brady is your proverbial 6th-round draft pick. Never mind that Tom Brady's brain is a computer. He knows everything that he's going to see like a grandmaster in playing chess. He's seen this over and over again, and he's put those chunk moves in his brain. And even Ben DiNucci, a dude that I'm sure had to get it just a little bit more than most people had to get it, but still had more talent than most people had, can get his head handed to him. And then we get to this conversation about Heisman Trophy winners and what they're supposed to look like. And I purposely put these names in the headline, right? I said, is Ian Book your Heisman Trophy winner? Knowing that most of y'all don't feel that way, even though Ian Book is leading an undefeated Notre Dame team against Clemson at home in South Bend, okay? I put Mac Jones in the headline because I know there's a whole bunch of y'all that want to ride for Mac Jones. 3-star recruit, same recruiting class as Tua Tagovailoa, was not supposed to be the starter. Bryce Young is supposed to have that job. Never mind that Mac Jones was good enough to play quarterback at Alabama in the Nick Saban era. Hello? Like that doesn't matter. And then I put Sunshine in there because, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the number 1 overall pick to many. Like they're already plotting for how he's going to return to Clemson instead of play for the Jets. To which I say, have you seen the 6'4", 255-pound quarterback behind him and what he did against Boston College? Because I did. DJ Uiagalelei is not going to sit there and wait for the Trevor Lawrence experience to go around one more again. Because he ain't got to, especially if they put through, like I think they will, this one-time transfer rule where you can go anywhere you want and play ball. There's only like 3 teams in college football today that DJ could not start for. One of them has Justin Fields as his quarterback. And when we talk about Justin Fields, especially when I talk about Justin Fields, is I've become something of a Justin Fields, let's say, not scholar or expert, but file, right? I'm interested in him. I'm fascinated by what he could do at Ohio State. I'm also fascinated what he could do with a baseball and particularly with a bat. I see there are just two kinds of people. You either prefer Justin Fields' flavor or you prefer the Trevor Lawrence flavor. You can do well with both. Hello? But even those dudes, people aren't ready to give them the Heisman. It's like, you're going to give Justin Fields the Heisman after 2 games. Have you seen him play? Do you see how good this kid is? Well, do you need to do it over a large swath of time, or do you need to do it better than anybody else in a very short amount of time? It's about flavor, right? This is how we have this conversation still now about, was Derrick Henry supposed to be the Heisman Trophy winner the year that Christian McCaffrey was destroying people at Stanford? He just wasn't the best player on the best team. I look at those things and I wonder, because as much as I was like trashing Ben DiNucci because I'm a fan watching the game and it's my team and we play in the worst division in NFL history, I felt for him because like he's not going to get another shot this weekend. They're going to start Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert. And Garrett Gilbert has never been more famous than when he got destroyed by Alabama in 2009. He's literally been collecting a check playing professional football for the better part of a decade, right? And couldn't really finish out at Texas. And Cooper Rush wasn't even on the 55-man. Nobody's looking at Cooper Rush to be their starting quarterback. He's a punchline. But DiNucci is not only going to have to sit here and suffer this, he's probably not going to get another shot to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys again. Like, we know that when Dak gets his ankle back, that's what it's going to be. Don't know whether or not Dak's going to be the same quarterback because he was having one hell of a season. And he was proving all y'all jokers wrong. And I was having such a good time about it because I believe in Dak, even as other people don't. And we got Dallas Cowboys fans talking about tank for Trevor. Nah, man, Trevor Lawrence ain't going to fix the Dallas Cowboys. No more than Johnny Manziel was going to fix the Dallas Cowboys. You know what that Johnny Manziel pick ended up being? Zach Martin. You know what Zach Martin was on? The best damn offensive line of the 21st century. It's also wild to me that the Dallas Cowboys have had 2 of the best offensive lines of all time, and only one of them won a Super Bowl. That's with Troy Aikman back, when I'm like 9. And Jerry and Jason Garrett just couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be or how it was supposed to go down to get us a Super Bowl. And then this year, you're going into this thing, and you're saying Dallas Cowboys ought to win a Super Bowl. In the same way that you're saying that Clemson or Alabama or Ohio State ought to win the ought to win the college football playoff national championship, COVID or no COVID, because they're just the better team. They're just they're more talented team. And then you look at the NFL and you remember it's the top 2% of college football players. It ain't nothing but Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama kids up there. I mean, it's more, but you get my point here. So when you get an FCS All-Star playing against another FCS All-Star, the FCS people feel like, fine, we get ours. And while they didn't have the best showing for Carson Wentz or from DiNucci, they had to feel good about that. Like if you lurk on the herosports.com website, this was your ball game. This was what you were here for. And you would have loved to see both of those dudes go like 30 of 33 for 330 with 3 touchdowns. You would have loved that. And we would have had probably a really good conversation about how there are players everywhere. I still believe there are players literally everywhere, right? I did the segment last week about Jackson Smith and Jigba and how he got shut down by Hudson Clark. And how Marvin Mims at Oklahoma got shut down by Hudson Clark. And who the hell is Hudson Clark? He's a walk-on in Arkansas playing defensive back. Jackson Smith and Jigba already has a catch of the year candidate, right? Like, we know that. Marvin Mims might win Big 12 newcomer of the year because he's the best wide receiver on a team known for putting out wide receivers, right? When you have 2 first-round draft picks in back-to-back years at wideout, you don't expect a true freshman coming in to, 1, immediately start, but 2, to be your best damn receiver.